Welcome to TRA's series of presentations on Public Transportation Agency Safety Plans, or PTASPs. In this presentation, we'll be looking at how to write a PTASP that's tailored to your agency's size, needs, and resources. For more than 25 years, TRA has provided technical and management consulting services in transportation and transit system safety, regulatory compliance, operations, maintenance, capital investment programming, asset management, security, and emergency preparedness. TRA is one of the most trusted consulting firms in the U.S. transit industry, and we've worked with transit agencies of all sizes throughout North America, including both bus and rail. We also provide legal and policy expertise in public transit regulations and compliance. Now that we have a broad outline of what needs to go in a PTASP, let's get into what it takes to actually write one. The FTA has developed a broad PTASP template and guidance available on the FTA website. You can follow the link on this page to be taken there directly. Covered bus agencies should review these materials and use them to help meet the baseline requirements of the federal rule. Those agencies who are committed to strengthening safety management throughout their organizations and implementing SMS can take a holistic approach, starting with conducting a gap assessment to go along with writing the PTASP itself and planning for the implementation stage. Covered agencies don't have to wait until they have fully implemented SMS in order to have a PTASP that meets FTA requirements. In fact, covered states and transit agencies can begin assessing their safety programs right now in order to fully wrap their arms around everything that's currently in place, as well as what remains to be accomplished before the July 2020 deadline. Instead of scrapping your agency's existing safety policies and procedures, we recommend starting with a gap assessment that compares the safety program already in place at the transit agency with the SMS requirements in Part 673. Doing a gap assessment will help your agency avoid duplication of effort with existing policies and practices, and will also help avoid the problem of having different parts of the organization working at cross purposes. Understanding what is already in place now will help you plan and implement the strengthened safety program your agency actually needs without abandoning existing processes and practices that might be working. A gap assessment would include, but not necessarily be limited to, assessing your agency's current organizational structure, as well as the current safety responsibilities that exist for different departments and individual positions. The assessment looks at the proactive safety initiatives that may already be in place, including, but not limited to, committee structures, audit and inspection programs, and compliance reviews. This assessment also examines the lines of communication within the agency and how individuals and departments are held accountable for safety performance. Finally, a gap assessment will examine the library of documents, including plans, policies, and procedures that govern the safety program. Based on this assessment, agencies are then able to determine what parts of SMS may already be in place and what is left to be done to achieve both the letter and the spirit of the SMS requirement. Note that states charged with writing one or more PTASPs for small bus transit providers should work closely with each covered bus agencies to perform this analysis, regardless of whether there will be a single statewide PTASP for small bus transit providers or individual plans for each bus agency. When it comes to actually writing the PTASP itself, it's essential to account for how things are right now. And while there are templates available to use for transit agencies of all sizes, it is important to avoid using the templates as a paint-by-numbers approach that does not substantively describe the safety program of the covered agency. That's why covered agencies should describe the safety program as it is currently, and not what things are supposed to look like under Part 673. Agencies, as well as states, should use the results of the gap assessment to define what processes are in place and what remains to be done. In fact, most agencies are unlikely to start this whole process with all of the required components of SMS already in place. For example, if your agency lacks a formal documented process for communicating how safety concerns are being addressed, the PTASP should acknowledge and document that fact, rather than simply stating that such a program should be in place. Remember, FTA will hold individual agencies accountable for implementing what's written in the PTASP. If you're interested in hearing more about public transportation agency safety plans, check out TRA's series of presentations. You can find all of them right on our website at traonline.com.